Welcome back to TalkUp, where we don't just teach English, we bring it to life. Today, we're starting a brand new story. It's about someone just like you, someone who wants to learn, explore, and grow. But first, I want to know, have you ever dreamed of studying or living in another country? Where would you go and why? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Now let's begin. Omar always dreamed of studying abroad. For years he worked hard, learned English and saved money. Then one day, it happened. He got accepted to the University of Toronto in Canada to study computer science. He stared at the acceptance letter in his inbox and whispered, "This is real." Now the journey begins. Moving to another country isn't easy. Omar had to prepare many things. He applied for a student visa, booked a one-way flight, found temporary housing near the university, collected documents, passport, admission letter, vaccination record. He also had to say goodbye to his family. His mother hugged him tightly and said, "Make us proud." Vocabulary, student visa. Permission to study in another country. One-way flight, a flight without a return ticket. Temporary housing, a short-term place to stay. On the day of his flight, Omar felt excited but nervous. At the airport, he passed through immigration, showed his visa and documents, and boarded the plane. The flight was long, 11 hours from Cairo to Toronto. He watched 2 movies, ate airplane food, and couldn't sleep much. Finally, the captain announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're landing in Toronto." Omar looked out the window and saw snow for the first time. Toronto Pearson Airport was huge and cold. After passport control and baggage claim, Omar stepped outside. The cold air hit his face like ice. It was -5 degrees Celsius. He zipped his jacket up and smiled. "Canada," he whispered. "I made it." He found the airport train and made his way to his Airbnb. His room was small but warm and clean. He texted his family, "I'm here, safe and tired. Love you." The next morning, Omar explored his new area. There was a Tim Hortons cafe on the corner, a supermarket, a park, and a bus stop. Everything looked different. The buildings, the people, the sounds. But he liked it. He entered the cafe and said, "Hi, I'm new here. What do you recommend?" The barista smiled and said, "Try the double-double." He laughed. "What's that?" "Coffee with 2 sugars and 2 creams. Canadian style." Vocabulary, barista, person who serves coffee, double-double, a popular coffee order in Canada, Airbnb, a short-term rented room or apartment. A week later, Omar walked into the University of Toronto campus for the first time. It was beautiful. Large trees, old buildings, and students from all over the world. He went to the International Students Office. A friendly woman greeted him. "Welcome, Omar. Do you have your student ID?" He showed her the documents. She handed him a welcome package, campus map, student card, health insurance info, a badge. "Ask me about Canada." Omar's first class was Introduction to Computer Science. The lecture hall was full, more than 200 students. The professor walked in, smiled, and said, "Welcome. This course will change how you see the world." Omar sat next to a guy from India named Rishi. They introduced themselves and started chatting. Rishi said, "You'll get used to the cold. The real challenge is the assignments." They both laughed. Vocabulary, lecture hall, large classroom for university courses. Assignments, homework or projects given by professor's student ID, a card that proves you are a student. After 10 days, it was time to move out of his Airbnb. Omar needed a long-term apartment. He searched online, visited student housing boards, and asked classmates. One evening, he visited a shared apartment with 3 other international students. The kitchen was clean, the rent was okay, and his room had a window with sunlight. The roommate from Brazil said, "You seem cool. We need one more person. Want to move in this weekend?" Omar smiled. Absolutely. Living on your own is fun, but not easy. Omar now had to cook his own meals, do laundry, budget his money, wake up early for class, deal with homesickness. Some days he missed his family, but every time he cooked rice just right or answered a professor's question in class, he felt proud. He was growing day by day. It was Omar's first time shopping alone in Canada. He walked into a local grocery store with a list on his phone: rice, chicken, eggs, bread, milk. But the store layout was confusing. Everything looked different and expensive. He walked up to an employee. Omar: "Excuse me, where can I find the rice?" Employee: "Aisle 6 on the left side." Omar: "Thank you." He learned some new words that day. Boneless, organic, 2% milk. When he got home, he realized he forgot to buy salt. Week 3 of university hit hard. Omar had his first programming assignment, and he was stuck. He stayed up late trying to solve it, but kept getting error messages. His roommate Rishi noticed and said, "Rishi, there's a help center on campus. Want to go together?" Omar: "Yes, please, I really need help." The next day, a teaching assistant helped him understand loops and syntax. When Omar finally submitted the assignment, he smiled and said, "I earned that click." Vocabulary, error message, a sign that something is wrong in code syntax, the rules for writing code submit, to hand in work, electronically or on paper. It was a Sunday afternoon, cold and quiet. Omar scrolled through photos of his family, his parents, little sister, his cat. He missed home. He called his mom. Omar: "Hey, Mama." Mom: "Habibi, how are you?" Omar: "I'm okay. Just, I miss everything." Mom: "We're proud of you. Don't forget that." He cried a little after the call, but then he made tea, listened to Arabic music, and opened his textbook. Omar was invited to a friend's house for Thanksgiving. It was his first time celebrating a Western holiday. Everyone brought food: turkey, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce. His friend Emma asked, "Did you ever try pumpkin pie?" He shook his head. One bite later, he said, "This is weird, but not bad." He loved how kind everyone was, asking questions about Egypt, sharing traditions, laughing together. It made him feel a little more at home. One morning in November, Omar woke up and looked outside. Snow, real snow. Everything was white. He was amazed and freezing. He tried to walk to class but slipped on ice. A stranger stopped and said, "First winter?" Omar laughed. "Yes, I think the sidewalk is fighting me." The stranger helped him up and gave him advice. Get boots with grip and never trust the weather app. In one class, students had to give a 5-minute presentation. Omar was nervous. Public speaking wasn't easy, especially in English. He practiced for days, recording himself correcting mistakes. On the day of the presentation, he stood up and began, "Hello, everyone. Today I'll talk about artificial intelligence and how it's changing our lives." He finished. People clapped. The professor nodded. He sat down, heart racing. Rishi whispered, "You crushed it, bro." Vocabulary, crushed it. Slang for did an amazing job. Public speaking, talking in front of a group presentation, showing and explaining something to an audience. One evening, Omar checked his bank account. He had spent too much: coffee, snacks, Uber rides. only $130 left. He panicked. The next day, he downloaded a budgeting app, made a list of wants versus needs, and promised to cook more. He told himself, surviving abroad means being smart, not just brave. To meet more people, Omar joined the university's coding club. At first, he felt shy. Everyone seemed smarter. But then they did a group project, and Omar's idea helped solve a bug no one could fix. The team lead said, "You're a natural problem solver." For the first time, Omar felt like he belonged. After 2 months, Omar had a rhythm. Wake up early, make coffee. Read 1 chapter before class, eat healthy, most days. Message his family once a week. Write 3 things I'm grateful for every Sunday. Canada still felt cold, but no longer unfamiliar. He was building a new life, step by step, word by word, in English. Winter came fast, and Omar was already thinking about his winter break. Most students would go home or travel, but Omar had a different plan. He wanted to visit Niagara Falls, a famous natural attraction near Toronto. He booked a bus ticket online and invited his roommate Rishi to join. "Let's see the falls covered in snow," Omar said excitedly. On a chilly morning, Omar and Rishi got on the bus. The ride was about 2 hours. When they arrived, the falls were stunning, huge amounts of water crashing down with ice and snow everywhere. Omar took many photos and said, "This is even better than I imagined." They drank hot chocolate and walked around, enjoying the crisp air. Vocabulary, attraction, a popular place to visit hot chocolate, warm sweet drink made from cocoa crisp air, fresh cold air. Thanks for following Omar's journey with TalkUp. Remember, learning English is not just about words. It's about real life, real people, and real stories. Now it's your turn. In the comments, tell us, what part of Omar's story did you like most? Have you ever moved to a new place? How did you feel? Use at least 3 new English words from this story. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. More stories, lessons, and tips are coming soon. See you next time on TalkUp, your place to speak up and learn English with confidence.